Welcome everyone to another episode of Get Resource Smart, where I feature New Hampshire organizations that are providing resources to the community. Today, well, she kind of called it, we are the kind of silent, in the back, you might not see us type of organization, but they are big brother and big sister, and you need to know who they are and the resources they offer, and most importantly, the impact that they're having on the community. So Stacy Kramer, you are the CEO, welcome.
Yes, thank you for having us, Flo.
Thank you, and we have some wonderful addition to the show. We've got Adam and Andrew, but I'm gonna have you do the honors and introduce them.
Okay.
And then we'll kick it off and get into more details about Big Brother and Big Sister.
That's wonderful, thank you. Yes, so I'm Stacy at Big Brothers Big Sisters of New Hampshire. I've been with the organization for 11 years, so it's so passionate about it. And I have with me today Adam, who is our Big Brother of the Year this past year and has been matched as a Big Brother for many years. And Andrew. Andrew has been a little in our program, a big, and he's a current board member.
Oh, this is great. And we'll get into more detail about him being little and big, because obviously there seems to be some various structures in the organization, and we'll dig a little bit deeper. So Adam and Andrew, hold on tight. We're gonna get a little bit more information. So first of all, who are you and who's Big Brother, Big Sister?
Yes. Well, and when I say little and big, I should have mentioned that that's what we refer to. Our mentors are bigs, so I use that interchangeably, and littles are the mentees. So depending on the program, you know, some high school students don't like to be called littles. Okay. But nationally, that's kind of what we do. But Big Brothers Big Sisters has been in the Granite State for over 55 years now. Nationally, almost 120. And so our mission is really all around mentoring. That's what we do. It's the one thing we do, and I have to say we're really good at it. We've perfected our strategy over the years and really are here for all children. All children are able to enroll in our programs anywhere from 6 to 18, and we actually just started a new program that will actually be able to follow kids longer after graduation.
Oh, I like that.
So any person can sign up. It doesn't cost anything to enroll in the program, and it's very easy to do if you go to our website. That's
great. And now, Adam, you are a mentor.
Yes.
So can you tell us how you got involved with the program?
Yeah, it started actually years before Big Brother, Big Brother, Big Sister. I needed a summer job in college at UNH. And my wife had worked at an after-school summer program for years and had gone there as a kid, and told me, and I was 22 at the time, that they needed a sport teacher for the summertime. And I had no experience with kids, hadn't talked to a kid since I was a kid, but it just sounded like fun, like, you know, running kickball summer and doing those things. And I decided to give it a shot. And long story short, was there for years and just fell in love with it and just loved the work. And when I was 27, I got a job at a marketing agency up Portsmouth, and I had to leave fun, and I was very bummed about that. And I just felt a hole, like there was just a muscle like I wasn't using that I had, that I miss. And you know, Big Brother, Big Sister New Hampshire is such strong and wide name recognition that even having no experience with the organization, that was in my head. So I reached out, went through the process, a very rigorous but you know, thorough and well-deservedly so interview process, and got matched with my little James.
Oh, I love that. And now that we're using the word little, I actually know what it means. Andrew, you started in the program.
Yes.
So tell us that experience, and then also we'll kind of get into now being a little and now you're a big, the transition to being a mentor too.
Yeah, so Big Brothers Big Sisters introduced me to the idea of mentorship as a young child at about 12 years old. I was raised by a single mother. I didn't have very many male role models in my life, and so my mother found out about Big Brothers Big Sisters as a possibility for me to get a male role model, to get positive male influence in my life. And so right around 12 years old, I heard about the program. I heard about how a kid needs this thing called a mentor. And I had no idea what that even really meant. And so being a little, for me, first meant just understanding that there should be others that you're looking up to. They should have these attributes that you should be looking up to, and I started looking for that. Cut to meeting my big after going through the interview process. Wonderful process, getting to know everyone. They asked great questions, always felt very comfortable. And then I met my big, and all of a sudden I had someone in my life that was challenging me for the first time.
Wow.
I had a great mother who loved me so well, but she worked 2 or 3 jobs, did her best with 3 kids. But for the first time, my big, he was a teacher at St. John's Prep, local private school. He challenged me, said, hey, challenged me to kind of go further in my education and challenged me to go apply there, told me about financial aid. Through his help, I ended up getting into St. John's Prep as well.
Wow.
And it really changed the course of my whole life in multiple ways.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you both mentioned something that is so critical, which is mentorship. And I can tell you, as an adult, I finally just got mentors in my life. And I wish I had them earlier. Because right now I'm mentoring a young woman. And she keeps saying, oh my God, you keep doing all these things for me. And for me, and you guys can probably attest to it, I'm just like, yeah, but I'm trying to help you. I see you. I see what you're capable of. I see your potential. And the key word you mentioned, Andrew, is someone to challenge me. And I'm challenging her. I'm bringing her to networking events with me, and I'm introducing her to people to be a positive influence, because for some, especially in underrepresented and marginalized group, without that influence, it's either left or right. Right could mean prison time, or just a life that's just going downhill. And left could be college, career success.
Right.
So let's dig a little bit deeper into that mission, how you were heavily, deeply involved into really having a huge impact into the lives of the children who are part of your program. And we also want to get into some of the activities that you guys do as well.
Yeah, and we, as I mentioned, we serve all types of kids, and we have a lot of stories like Andrew's, who a mom comes into the, parents are our biggest referrals. They refer their child because they know that they need somebody else that can provide that mentorship, something that they can't necessarily do, or they want somebody additional, and that's great. And so it's again making that impact of, our big tagline is around kids have potential, and potential's everywhere. And we feel that kids that come into our program have potential. It's just our job to keep pushing that forward and have them be the best version of themselves, whether that looks like going to university or, community college, entering the workforce, and really just having a plan. And so we try to do a lot of early intervention. So we're working with elementary schools around the state, but we also have a brand new program in Manchester. We're piloting with high school students to prepare them for what comes out, what's your plan, and kind of really focusing on that and having them really explore what is it that I like to do, not like to do, and really giving them opportunities. All of our kids, it's all about opening up opportunities for them. We have so many children that have not experienced things, just like they could be educational in nature, but going to a ball game, having somebody take a walk with you and just listen to how your day was. It's, as you mentioned, we have, the incarceration and the impact is significant. We're evidence-based program, so we're collecting a lot of data, and we're doing a really vigorous kind of interview process, because we want to get to know you and make the best match. It's all about making not first child in and first mentor and sticking them together. You're sticking 2 complete strangers together. So you want to make sure that it's a good bond and it's successful, and that it can, stand the test of time. I talk to bigs all the time that go up and visit, their little has gone off to college, or they've moved, but they still stay in touch. And it's just that connection is so impactful, and why I know I'm passionate about Big Brothers, Big Sisters as a previous Big Sister myself, and just wanting, every child deserves somebody in their corner.
I agree with that 100%. So Adam and Andrew, let's kind of talk about some of the things that you do with the littles that you mentor. So, I mean, what is, I guess, for people who are also looking, who are like, hey, I would love to be a mentor. Because I think mentor, you know, we've got to be really upfront. It's an investment, an investment of your time. So let's kind of talk about what you do to help kind of motivate.
That investment point, I'm glad you touched on that, because I think sometimes about sort of the dichotomy of the investment and the commitment. And what I mean by that is when you sign up for this program, when you go through the interview process, you realize that you really are committing to this child, right? Like they ask for at least a 1-year commitment, and ideally, years beyond that. But so you want to feel in it, but at the same time, on a practical level, on a week-to-week level, it's not a huge ask, to me at least. And we're all busy. You're busy, I'm busy, he's busy, she's busy. But it's every other week, typically, 2 to 3 hours at a time. And it's to me, just was not a big ask. So there's, yes, big commitment, but also on a week-to-week basis, to me, very doable for the payoff, for not just the child is benefiting so much, but for you too, and just the satisfaction you feel. So that's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah. So what are the things that you kind of do with your little? Are there any activities? Is just phone calls, Zoom?
The nice thing about Big Brothers Big Sisters is the flexibility within the program. Given it's a one-to-one relationship, you set up something that works between you and your little. So for me, that looked like I'm extremely busy. So, but meeting up around lunchtime to go get lunch together, sometimes at the school as well. And really, the experience is, okay, well, go take my lunchtime I'd already be having, but now I'm doing it with my little. A lot of times it would go to his school, see the lunch, even the schools would work with us as well. And then I'd get to go out to see him with his friends and even play on a playground. It was very fun.
Right.
The flexibility is great in that, the commitment is not that a lot. You are making a commitment, but it's not a lot. And it's fun. It's doing the things that you like to do anyways and just sharing that. We have littles come in all the time that say, I just want to go fishing. I just want to learn how to fish, and I want someone to spend that time with me. And it's just, we have 2 types of programs. Mentors can be any age range. We have mentors right now that are in their 70s, and they come in, they think, oh, well, am I too old to do this? No, you're not. It's 18 and older. We have the whole spectrum of volunteers and everything that they like to do, and that's why we like to get to know you, so that way we can match you with a child that has similar interests and may want to learn something from you as well. And so we try to, provide programming. We have 2 types of program, our community-based model, which is what Adam's talking about, and then Andrew's talking about our site and school-based model or workplace model, which is more at a school or an after-school program. We also have kids that are bused to certain work sites around the state, and they actually meet with their big there and do fun things together as a group, or might be doing something individually, maybe shooting hoops, working on homework. So it's very flexible in terms of kind of what you're looking for. Is it something you want to do weekly, or do you travel and you need to do every other week?
Right.
So
on the activity thing too, I want to mention quickly, one surprise for me in joining the organization was just how well they take care of you as you join and as you're a big getting your footing sort of. So you get a match specialist who's checking with you regularly, but you're also put on an email list where there are activities happening all the time that, we have tickets to this baseball game, we're doing surf lessons here, things that will be typically no cost to us as bigs that we can, opt to participate in. And, I've done it for years, and I've only been able to do a handful of those activities, but they've been just awesome every time. So they really set you up for success in that way.
Yeah, most mentors ask, so what do I do?
Right.
That's the big question. And it's the little things. It's never the big things. When I talk to kids in our program, it's about going for a walk with the dog and talking about their day. It's never the concert or the baseball game, although we do provide those things as well. But we want you to do low-cost activities. As I always say, our mentors are the gift. That time is the gift. And that's what's really important in trying to really bring communities together. Like we talk about the activities, and that's really important so other littles or mentees can meet others in the program. You know, a lot of our kids might be going through bullying at school, not belonging, which is really challenging for them. Or they might have a parent that's in the military and is deployed, or they might have a parent that's incarcerated. And so we want to help them feel belonging and be connected and really have somebody in their corner.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is really, oh my God, this is powerful. Really powerful because, and just Andrew's story really stuck to me because, you know, at the time, you know, growing up, you know, I had two parents, but my, you know, parents are immigrants, but they were at work. After they were going to school, they're going to work. So half the time I was like home by myself. So I'm just like, oh, if I had this, oh my goodness, if I had this. Because half the time I was like alone. But what you're saying is as simple as going for a walk. You know, you have, you do have a lot of parents in the same situation.
And Flo, what you mentioned I thought was so right on, of the choice between kind of left and right, right? And my experience was I didn't know the right path. Like I didn't know what was possible until I had a mentor.
You don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly. I didn't know the potential I had within myself. I didn't even know, maybe I've heard of these things, but okay, it's so far away. But then to have someone right there with you saying, hey, no, you're smart. My mentor was the first person to tell me, hey, you're smart, and I believed him. And it changed the course of my whole life, because then I moved forward, oh, I'm now a smart person. This person I looked up to then told me so. And that simply knowing that the possibility is there can make all the difference. And just simply, it's like giving the gift of a growth mindset to someone. Like, if you know, oh, I'm capable of changing, right? That's, what is it to be a mentee, but to be someone in the process of changing and developing on a positive trajectory.
Yeah, it's that positive reinforcement. I was speaking with a young lawyer, and I met her at a conference, and she reached out, and you know, there was a job she was applying for, and she was just like, hey, can you just help me? And representation matters too, right? Because she felt comfortable coming to me, because she's like, hey, you're a woman of color, I'm a woman of color. She felt that connection. But the lack of self-confidence, oh my goodness. The lack of self-confidence, you know, I was trying to help her negotiate her salary, and she's asking for less, and I'm like, why? And she said, because I'm not confident to ask for more. And she knew she wasn't confident. But that's the same thing that I also see sometimes in young kids. You know, my daughter had to take a test, and she was like, oh my gosh, panicking, like, I'm gonna fail. I'm like, but what if you don't fail? You know, what if you go blow that test up and you get 100? So I don't think a lot of people realize just how critical it is at kind of like the early stages of childhood, where positive reinforcement, you're beautiful, you're smart. And right now we're kind of having, you know, social media, which is really having a huge impact on our kids, because now they're kind of like, hey, you know, for me to be beautiful, I got to look like this. And for me to be liked, I got to have these sneakers and look like this. And I think what you guys are doing is really a game changer, right?
The mental health piece is really big right now, because even during COVID, you know, we never stopped doing what we did. You know, we just needed to pivot like everybody else and provide our services either virtually or in person safely. And so that way we could check in with families and find out, what do you need? What other resources do you need that Big Brothers Big Sisters can't provide, but we can connect you with other services, and to really make sure that our youth were, you know, doing well and feeling connected. We had bigs that would do drive-bys to say hi, and you know, they would have safe distancing, and we've done a lot of things outside. And so we're very flexible and creative in that way, and that we really want to be a solution to a lot of, and prevention to you know, the things that are really impacting our youth these days. You know, substance misuse. We have a special grant just to work with families that have been involved in opioids crisis and at some point. We also work with our Bigs and Badges program, which is matching youth with law enforcement and first responders. So that way kids are having a positive impact, and usually the first time that they're involved with law enforcement, it's a crisis situation. And so we want to build that positive relationship. And so we have a lot of kind of specialty things. We also have a PRISM program for our LGBTQ community where we recruit mentors and mentees for that program, and just again a sense of belonging and wanting. They want somebody in their corner that looks like them, that may have gone through the same situation. And right now, really the big push is for male mentors. It's challenging since the pandemic, and overall about 75% of our kids waiting are boys.
Oh man.
Right, and we usually have about 150 kids waiting at any time during in the state.
So you guys hear that? Yes. That is the call to action. Yes. Especially, I love the fact that you guys are teaming up with the police department, because I'll tell you, I get scared too. I got pulled over recently. I got lost somewhere. I wasn't paying attention to the speed, and I was nervous. I'm like holding on to the wheel, like nervous, but for younger kids in certain communities, that they're terrified. Yes. So I love that team up. But the call to action for all the males out there watching is get involved. Get involved. Inspire, motivate, encourage, make a difference. Make a difference in someone's life. So make sure you get in touch. So now, it sounds like there's a lot of community engagement as well, right? It seems like because you guys are going to the school, you're also doing drop-offs at local businesses. So how are you really getting the community involved in the program? Because you're also getting baseball tickets and other stuff. So what does that look like in terms of not just getting male mentors, but also getting the community involved in the program?
Yeah, that's a big piece for us because mentors are everything to us. That is our bread and butter. And Bigs are also our best recruiters. So if, it's usually like, oh, they hear an ad on the radio or they see it on the website, but then they're like, oh, I talked to somebody and I decided to call, and so it's really about getting the community involved in the way that they want to. Maybe you don't have time to be a mentor, but you have something else that you could give. And so we always call it our time, talent, and treasure. And that you have something to give. And your network of friends and community also have something to give. And so there's just all kinds of things that you can do to get involved. And we want it's about that connection and that community connection.
That's great. So Adam, tell me about a time that really resonates with you, that you have shared with your little.
A time that resonates, okay.
Right, yeah.
Let's see. A few, as I'm sure you can expect, jump out. There was a kind of a pivot point in our match when things changed. The first year that we were matched was great. He was a very sweet kid, 8 years old, and we had a good time together, but I felt like sort of a vessel for a lot of these fun things that we were doing, and a couple things changed. One is that I started changing what we did from going to the movies and laser tag and good things that we'd still do now and then. I kind of brought it down a little bit, and it was more like, let's go shoot hoops, let's go to the park, let's just kind of hang out, and just more opportunity for me to listen to him, just let him talk. Like, if you knew how few people looked at many kids and just let them talk and just kind of share over the course of a week, I think it would surprise all of us. So tried to give him that opportunity. That was a good change. But the other big thing, kind of the funny realization that I had was he thought that I was employed that this was my job. And so I've joked to Stacy before. I said to him, James, not only am I not being paid for this, I'm paying for what we're doing. And I'm very happy to. It's awesome. But I just wanted to make that clear to him, and that switched something for him because he was like, okay, this person is here because they want to be. And so, I always remember that.
Right, it's genuine now. This is a relationship now because I just have to do it because I get a paycheck.
Exactly.
It's because I'm passionate and love doing it.
Right.
And that's really a game changer for our kids. And one of the things that you didn't mention too was just that he's moved several times too. His little has moved, and I just commend Adam for staying connected. He's moved across the country, and they still stay connected, and they write and all those things. And he's moved back and forth, and so it's just been an amazing watching this journey with them.
I should have told you this earlier too. My grandmother passed a couple weeks ago, and I was supposed to, because to Stacy's point, he is living elsewhere now. He's in North Carolina right now. And so we had a kind of fortnight date to play that night, and which is great to just catch up because you're on the microphone and you're asking about school and the wrestling meet and whatever else. And so I had to give him a heads up, hey, this just happened, and I'm gonna have to reschedule. And it's been crazy just to see the growth. He's 14 now; he's turned 14, and he's now asking me about how are you doing about your grandmother who just passed, and how if you need to talk, let me know. And it's just,
my goodness.
It's just such a change and so rewarding. But
that is fantastic. It's wow. Do you think you can beat that, Andrew?
This is no competition. I can never be beat.
This is great because this is, and you bring up a good point. Just hearing you just talk about how sometimes, as adults, we kind of brush off kids and we're not listening. It's like, and I just. For me as a parent now, I'm going to go back home and make sure, because like you said, we're all busy.
Yep.
And I'm constantly busy doing 20 million things. But I'm going to really be more intentional about taking that time to just stop and listen, even though I have to hear the same story that I probably heard 2 weeks ago, like 100 times.
Yeah.
But Andrew, I'm going to let you share your story.
About my experience with my little.
Yes.
The one takeaway, I'd say, in development I saw was really, aside from every time going to see someone, you stand up a bit straighter.
Yeah.
This was the first thing that came to my mind. But as far as the development with my little was extremely intelligent. I found far more intelligent than a lot of his peers for his age, and it almost led to a little bit of isolation for him. And this is kudos to the matchmaking process at Big Brothers Big Sisters. I think they saw that, like we were able to connect on this level. It was like a intellectual level, as an artistic level. We'd sit down a lot of times, and the most moving moments we had we'd sit down and just kind of do a little bit of art together, or drawing, and he had these amazing drawings, and he'd come and show them to me every week, and I'd get an update on them. We'd sit there and just talk, and I was meeting him at school, so sometimes I'd also get to go to his lunch or go to the playground. And I got to see how he had friends, but it was a little bit estranged. But what I realized was I felt like he was a little almost ahead of his peers, so I got to push him towards, why don't you share this, or kind of bring up that little cool thing I had seen in between some of his friends, and then watch as all of a sudden, boom, he just lit up around his friends. All of a sudden that social realm opened up to him, and he said he got to see how kind of a better way to be relating with some of his peers, and I got to play a little bit of a role in that. And it was just really cool to see that kind of introverted side that we shared, and then kind of bring that into the world to say, hey, these are some of the things that are really cool about you, and sharing in that and seeing him kind of blossom.
Right. But you know what that shows is that besides just talking and listening is your ability to see within inside your little. And really be able to connect the dots and see things that, hey, you're special, right? And letting him know you're special, but guess what? You're not sharing that with others. And imagine if you shared that with others, the impacts, right? And that gave him that confidence, that C word we talked about earlier, that confidence to now open up, because it wasn't special bad, it was special good. And one of my friends yesterday at the New Hampshire Business Review Outstanding Women Awards, she said we're all unicorns, right? Unicorns exist. We're all unique. And the fact that this isn't just about let's color together, let's go to a game. Oh, and we played hoops, and you take notes. This is what I did, but this is about let me help you build. I'm going to help build you so that you can be the best that you can be, and I think that's what's the power of this. Is that what you guys see in this?
Yeah. The power of mentorship.
The self-esteem part is so big, and because you hear, I'm not in school with him or around his peers, so you're hearing about these things through the prism of his own words and descriptions,
Right.
and just over the years, and it's been slow and subtle, but hearing how he describes life in school now versus how he did a few years ago. And by the way, I also don't want to ascribe all this to Big Brother, Big Sister. Like, part of it was probably a natural maturation that he was going to go through, but to even play a small part or witness that, it's just such a special privilege.
Yeah.
And really, the mentor gets as much out of it as the child. And we hear that all the time, is like, well, as Andrew said, I stand up a little taller. I want to make sure I'm putting my best foot forward. And you certainly don't need to be perfect. You just need to share your insights and things that you like to do. And we do the work in terms of getting the right matches together. It's incredible. The team, we have about 25 staff across the state, and we do everything from recruiting and working with businesses to recruit mentors and the community. And then that interview process is really critical in terms of getting to know you and the family. The child has a say as well. And so we want to include everybody. And then the training and really empowering our bigs, and then the ongoing support. I mean, really, that's what sets Big Brothers, Big Sisters aside from other mentoring organizations, is the fact that that is our mission. That is our one mission, is mentorship. But it's the ongoing support that we provide. So you're actually assigned to somebody that will check in with you to see how are things going and help with all the ups and downs of life. And, hey, I'm trying to problem solve this. Well, we're here to help you with that. Does the family need something else? What kind of activity can we provide? Activities for us is essential, because it's really about bringing people together and making that a strong relationship so that we can get the outcomes that we want.
I mean, I really think that Adam and Andrew would be great for doing, like, going to colleges and high schools and speaking with especially the male students to really get them energized. And some of them might not even really know, honestly. They might not know, like, oh my God, I can be a mentor, and here's a type of an impact that I can make. So I think definitely you two are critical in being kind of like the messengers for the community, because what you guys are doing right now is, like, phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have you guys thought about that? Are you going into schools and chatting with the students?
I don't know about your experience. I speak about it openly, and when prompted, I try not to push it too much on people. But I'm pretty vocal about just having such a good experience and getting so much out of this. I'll share it to my Instagram now and then, just the updated waiting list numbers for the children, which often hovers around 150, just like as a gentle kind of thing to put out. And then you'll get a DM occasionally and someone saying, hey, like, is it what is it like? And so that can be a small avenue to do it. But I'd be happy to talk to, I always say this, I'd be happy to talk to anyone who's even considering it.
College tour and high school tour. That's what I see.
Yes. We're doing right now, we're in a lot of schools and doing, presentations and touching base. And we actually are embedded in West High School, where we have a classroom there, and do some leadership building and skill building. And we add a technology piece as well. So there's a platform that we've learned during COVID that we need to be able to do everything and really increase our technology capabilities. So we have an app that those matches can use, and it actually is like a prompt, so that way they can answer questions, get to know one another. And so there's that virtual piece as well as in person. They might be going to a college campus tour and talking with people there about, how did you get into this job, and what are the possibilities? Because there are so many out there.
No, there definitely are. And the other thing that I think is key that I like is that commitment level. Like, this is not like a sign up for 6 weeks. You know, this is a, hey, you've got to commit at least for 12 months.
Right.
And at that point, when you know someone is signing up, you know that this person is invested, right?
Correct.
Because most people will be like, ooh, 12 months, I don't know. Might look
And
at
that
this
is
later.
hard, and that is hard. And we understand life happens, right? It's like things come up. You might get a different job. You might move. You know, your little might move. And so we try to work with all of those scenarios. There probably isn't a scenario we haven't seen. So I don't think anything surprises us, but that we just say that you can commit to doing that and being consistent. That's really the piece. And then we'll work around the other pieces. You know, I mean, we've had everything, you know, bigs that have come up against a medical issue so they've had to go to writing letters, and there's been moving and job changes. But really the commitment, the reason why we ask for that is just because that's what research shows is the most impactful for kids.
Yeah. And what about for the young ladies that are part of the program? Do you see a larger increase in women participating as mentors? What does that kind of look like? Yeah,
it's really the same as our youth. The makeup is the same. So we have more female mentors than we do male mentors, and we serve more female mentees, so our littles. So it's about 75, it hovers, you know, between 60, 75. So right now, boys right now are waiting, and they consistently wait longer than girls to get matched.
That breaks my heart. That breaks, we've got, the guys, please, you gotta sign up. I mean, I have been mentoring a lot, and I just realized the power. And for me during COVID, like two women, I met two women who have become my mentors, who've changed my life. So I can attest to the power, the power of mentorship. Now, so we talked about this before we started recording, and one of the things we mentioned is that people might have a little bit of a confusion because we have the boys club, the boys and girls club. So let's touch upon that before we wrap up. So we make sure that when people go search, they're not searching for the wrong organization.
Yes, you want to search for Big Brothers Big Sisters. Our website is bbbsnh.org, and we are confused sometimes with the Boys and Girls Club, and they're a great organization as well, but they're definitely more visible. They have the buses and the kids running around in the playground, whereas you might be sitting next to Adam and his little at a restaurant and not know they're celebrating their 5-year anniversary. So we try to, you know, that's why we have a lot of different models in terms of the flexibility and being either at the school like Andrew or being at the PD, and having those different kind of scenarios where you can, you know, we'll meet you where you are, and, you know, try to do those fun things.
So we did the call to action. We need more male mentors. So I'm going to do the last kind of round table and ask each of you what is that kind of last call of action, what the community needs to know, or anything that we haven't discussed that really needs to be featured today.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing up it's kind of like we're in the background. And so I appreciate that distinction so that people know Big Brothers Big Sisters is really around mentoring. Most people say, oh, I know that you work with youth, and so it's really important that we really hone in on the mentorship piece, and that's the one thing we do. For me, the call to action is really around mentors, needing mentors, particularly men, putting the men back in mentoring, right? And the flexibility that we can offer depending on what your schedule looks like and what your life looks like.
Right, and there's no age limit. So I mean, this is definitely great for even if you're retired.
Correct.
You know, and you like to go fishing. Well, how about you have a buddy go fishing with you? You know, so the opportunities are endless. And Adam, what do you want people to know? What is your call to action?
I would say again, the commitment on a week-to-week level just is not that huge for the payoff that both you and the child, the little, get. I think about how many things in my calendar that I finished them and I'm just had total satisfaction and just know that it was time well spent, and there aren't as many as I wish there were. But all my time with my little falls into that category. You know, you drive home and you're like, that was good. So that's what I would say about it. Time well spent.
Yeah. That's powerful.
And
Andrew?
for me, it would be, I guess, a call to everyone to think of whether you're going to be a big or you have someone who might be a little, to view Big Brothers Big Sisters as the pillar of the community that it is and can really become. I think societally, we're looking at a lot of challenges, a lot of even just loneliness, and especially in this post-COVID time. And I think Big Brothers Big Sisters is the organization here to solve so many of the problems that we have. And the thing is, it's just so simple. Just to be there for someone else. So many people just need someone in their corner.
Yeah.
And this is just the efficiency of the organization as well. Like it's just, I view it as the solution to so many of our problems in society, and one of the best. When I look towards a brighter future, I see Big Brothers Big Sisters playing a very important role.
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys are the kind of influence you're having on these young men and young women. These are like the next, CEOs and the next big leaders.
It's the biggest thing. It's having a positive adult mentor in your life can change the trajectory of your life. It's the single most important thing, research has shown, and and that's what we do. We put that person in their lives. So.
I agree. I can attest to that because I am part of that statistic. Me too. The differences made in my life and why I give back now by being a mentor to others is because I've seen the power, the power that it has and the difference, the measurable, the measurable difference that it can make. So Adam and Andrew, you guys have my respect, hands down. Hands down, you have my respect because
me too.
What you guys are doing is beyond commendable, and again, you're doing this. You're not getting paid. You're doing this because it's you love it and you have a passion and you are invested in doing what's right. So thank you so much for what you guys are doing, and I hope you inspire and motivate people watching today to take lead as well. Stacy, I don't even know what to say. What you guys are doing is phenomenal.
Thank you.
You guys should be proud of yourself and the impact. You have my support.
Thank you.
Whatever you need me to do, if you're like, hey, we need a cheerleader, I'm coming with my pom-poms.
Thank you. I love it.
I'm coming.
I love it. This is great.
Guys, you heard the call to action. They need more mentors. Please sign up. There's nothing more powerful than making a difference in someone's life. So thank you for watching another episode of Get Resource Smart. Stay tuned for more.